Now we're going to add a dynamic heading to this page that changes based on the current filters. For example, if we select action here, the heading changes to action games. And if we select a platform like Xbox, now the heading changes to Xbox action games. So let's add another component to our project called game heading. Now here we should return a heading component from Chakra. We could also return an H1. That is totally fine, but we're building this application around Chakra, so I prefer to use Chakra components as much as possible to stay consistent. So here we return a heading component and have it rendered as an H1 element. Now to render the heading dynamically, we should receive the game query object as a prop in this component. So let's define our props. Here we add game query of type game query. Next, we add our prop. Now, what is the logic that we need to implement? Well, initially, we want to render just the label games. Now, if the user selects a genre like action, we render action games. If the user selects a platform like Xbox, we should render Xbox games. Now, if the user selects both a genre and a platform, we start with the platform, then we add the genre, and finally, games. This is really simple to implement. We can declare a variable or a constant called heading and set it to a template literal. Here we can add placeholders, one for the platform. So we go to game query, grab the platform. If it exists, we render its name. Then we add a space and add a second placeholder for the genre. So game query, .genre, .name. And then we add games. As simple as that. Now let's render that right here. Okay, so let's clean up this code and remove React on the top. Now let's go to our app component and add our game heading just before this flex component. So game heading. Now we should pass our game query. Good. Let's see what we get. So, all right, initially we get undefined, but this is very easy to fix. So back to our game heading. If we have a platform, we'll render its name. Otherwise, we should render an empty string instead of undefined. Similarly, for our genre, let's see what we get. All right, good. Now if we select action, we get action games. Lovely, everything is working. Now if we select both a genre and a platform, that works great. Now what if we only select a platform? Everything is working. We just need a bit of vertical margin here because our heading is so close to our filters. So here's our heading. We should set margin Y to, let's say, 5. Here's what we get. That's better. We can also increase the font size. So here we set font size to 5x large. I think that's better. There is just a tiny issue that is bugging me here. The left side of our heading is not aligned with our cards or filters. So here we need to apply some padding. So let's go back to our app component. Look, earlier we applied a left padding of 2 to our flex container. Now here we have two options. We can apply the same left padding to our heading, but that is ugly because if tomorrow we decide to change the padding, there are 2 places we have to modify. A better approach is to wrap these 2 components inside a box and apply the left padding there. So we select these 2 components and wrap them inside a box. Then we move padding left up here. Now we have a single place we have to modify. With that, our heading is beautifully aligned with our filters and cards. So now it's time to make a commit. Our message is add a dynamic page heading.